Hey there, everybody. Today's video is a little weird, so I wanted to explain it before it went up. I was just going to let it post. What happened was I recorded a bunch of videos. I recorded PS5's lead over Xbox. I recorded is Sony copying Xbox and PS5 sales versus Xbox ideas. Those are all based off of that document, an analyst post, etc. I just thought it was an interesting topic, and I talked about it. Now, there's been a little bit of contention about those videos on the channel. So I'll just let you know those videos are done. But I realize now that people have been talking about that, and if they see this video, it's going to be a little bit weird. So I'm just going to let the video play, let you know I recorded it on Wednesday after I was getting heat for so I was making all these Xbox videos, like Bethesda Xbox E3 announced, Bethesda should be Xbox exclusive, all known Starfield details. And before that, I said insane PS5 E3 2021 potential, where I talk about, if Sony does decide to show up at E3, man, they could do some really cool stuff. Before that, I talked about guessing E3 reveals for Xbox and, just Xbox videos. So the goal for the channel is to sort of talk about things that happen in the industry and just sort of guess, okay, strategically, what's Sony doing? What's Xbox doing? And I do think I can make a really great Xbox follow up to these PS5 videos because I said it in the live AMA. I didn't do a good job of making the correlation between the two. Like, okay, well, what is Xbox doing to answer it? So a lot of people pointed out, like, why are you talking about the console sales? I mean, the fact that PS5s are outselling Xbox 2 to 1 says to me two interesting things. One, Sony has figured out a way to manufacture more consoles because I have to wonder if Xbox was able to get more consoles on the market, I have to imagine they would be sold out. So how are they selling that many more? They came out around the same time, and that's the sort of stuff that I just sort of think about and I want to talk to you guys about in these videos. I'm definitely not trying to like stoke fanboy wars or anything. I'm just thinking, really. I'm just thinking and talking about the different strategies. I've been very clear that I'm an Xbox fan. I'm really excited about Xbox. This video is to sort of convey that I'm like, okay, like it's a new generation. More and more people are getting excited about Xbox. Some people call them the underdog. I refer to them as the underdog in this video, but I think they're doing some really, really smart stuff. I think Sony is copying them because they see they're doing some smart stuff and they know they need to catch up. So anyway, I'll just let the video play. I hope you understand I recorded it on a Wednesday, and I hope this context alone could be its own video. But yeah, enjoy, and I'm going to be back to my regular scheduled programming starting next week. And man, got an exciting few weeks ahead. I hope you had a good long weekend. I'll just let the video play after this, and I'll see you afterwards. Bye for now. Okay, I get this, I'll call it a criticism a lot, that I talk about Xbox too much. And why do I do that? It's simply because I'm more excited about what Xbox is doing than what Sony is doing. And I'll explain that right now. Okay, so I don't think it's too crazy to say that I like to root for the underdog. And right now, Xbox is technically the underdog in the situation in the Sony sales versus Xbox sales conversation that we see online so often, right? They're selling consoles at a loss. They're selling less consoles than the PlayStation 5, and they just constantly get hammered. And to me, sure, that's one conversation to have, but Xbox is doing really interesting things, and everyone's ears are perking up because what they're doing is really, really cool. We talk about Game Pass all the time. Nobody has offered a service like that ever before, and not that I know of, not that I can think of anyway. And they are really, really making waves with how they support developers. Developers are able to experiment with new stuff. Developers are making more money through Game Pass. And that is a really, really interesting story to tell. And that's just Game Pass alone. And the partnerships they managed to get on it with EA, the rumored Ubisoft thing, if that happens. The third party games like Outriders and MLB The Show coming to Game Pass, all of that's conversations that really, really get people's mind interested in what's going on with the Xbox family of devices, myself included, even though I said that sentence terribly because I'm tired. But that's why I'm excited about Xbox. That's why this channel has so many Xbox videos. I make Sony videos. People don't watch them. I talked about how Returnal's my game of the year, 7,000 views. I talk about how talk about Xbox stuff, and it just does better viewership, right? So blatantly, it would seem my audience and just the general audience right now is more interested in Xbox. Does that mean I'm not going to make Sony videos? No, because I want to still talk about the cool stuff that Sony is doing. And the whole goal of my channel is sort of to talk about philosophically or just guessing what is each platform doing. And like the title of this video says, I am really, really interested in what Xbox has been doing. So Sony, as you know, they're going to be releasing some awesome story-based games, some single-player experiences. They have some really fantastic developers making great games. And I love them. Like, I'm going to love Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man Miles Morales I loved. I talk about it all the time. I just feel like I keep saying the same things about Sony. I talked about how Returnal's my game of the year, and yet I'm called an Xbox fanboy. Okay, so what? I still love Sony games. I do find Xbox really interesting and compelling because it's interesting to wonder, what is their strategy? What are they thinking? Because they're doing things that, simply put, Sony is not. So a new story is more interesting than a known one, right? And Game Pass is definitely a new story. We don't know what's going to happen with it. Is it eventually going to be more profitable than people like Tom Warren have said it's not profitable, right? So is it eventually going to hit that tipping point and move into profitability? Or is it just a loss leader? Both companies sell consoles at a loss. Game Pass is probably a loss leader also, and this is from just Google for a quick explanation. A loss leader, also leader, is a pricing strategy where a product is sold at a price below its market cost to stimulate other sales of more profitable goods or services. With this sales promotion marketing strategy, a leader is any popular article sold at a normal price. So basically, you sell stuff, you lose a little bit when you sell it, like with the console. But once you get a person in your console space, they're going to be spending money on games, and that's where you have your profit margin. So you start making money on your games, and then let's say somebody loves that games and they spend money in your store to buy things in that game. Well, Microsoft gets a percentage of that, and that's where they make their profit at the end of the day. Same thing with Game Pass, right? So, Xbox is doing all this stuff. So first of all, they are behind in the race. They're still making billions of dollars, so like they're fine, but they are behind. And it's really, really interesting to talk about my fake hand graphs of them eventually getting to parity with Sony in the future. And honestly, in my opinion, I really think they're going to get there. And criticize me all you want for it. If you don't see the writing on the wall, if you don't see that Xbox is stacking up the dominoes to knock them down very soon in the next few years, you're just not paying attention. Sony's doing what they've always done, make fantastic games. They have pretty good hardware. Hopefully the hardware is updated to support that 1440p. I know that's been one of their criticisms. They're having that Horizon video state of play, very, very soon. We're all going to love Horizon, and I'm sure it's going to blow us out of the water. Xbox is going to catch up, though. And that's why I think they're going to be at parity, because Xbox has more studios, which means they have more games in the works, even if Sony's been doing a better job at marketing it. Sony's like, we have 25 games in the works, 12 or 13 of which are new IPs, right? Great. We'll see more about those E3 maybe. Meanwhile, at Xbox, we know a ton about what they've been working on, and we get to experience the reveal of all these new IPs, of all these new games, or IPs that are coming back, like Perfect Dark, for example, and we get to just check them out and get excited about games that we haven't necessarily played before. So Xbox is building a new story. And I just caught myself because I realized I just said Sony's making new IPs. And okay, look, I love games, right? So that's great that Sony's making new IPs. Xbox is also making new IPs. So once they reach market saturation with the PlayStation 5, where do you have to go? Oh, I keep hearing about all these great games on Xbox. And I have to wonder if we're entering into a 360 PS3 era. The PS3 sold very poorly when compared to the 360. It wasn't until the end of the console life cycle, I believe it was a 10-year console life cycle, that the PS3 took the lead. The PS3 sold better than the 360, but if you were around for that era, the talk of the town was the Xbox 360 and not the PS3. The PS3 was too expensive. It had like problems if you didn't get the 60 gig backwards compatibility version, and that was a big deal back then. The 360 had Mass Effect. It had all these cool games. It was doing Gears of War. It had, of course, the Halo franchise, and everybody was excited about what the 360 was doing when it came to games. Sure, PlayStation had that mud game back in the PS3 era during launch, and they caught up eventually, but it took a while, is my point. And I think we're seeing history repeating themselves in the other direction. And I don't know why people get mad at me when I say, hey, I would like to see the consoles be at parity. Because at the end of the day, I just want to see them closer in terms of sales. I want to hear that the Xbox console and the PlayStation console are closer in terms of sales, because that means those two companies will be competing for your dollar, right? I got to be honest, like right now, it does not feel like Sony's competing. They've made their games more expensive. That's not like a fun story to talk about, right? Hey, games are $10 more expensive on PlayStation. Cool. Their streaming service is, like, simply put, PlayStation Now is not as good as Game Pass. In my opinion, maybe you disagree. Yes, they're both comparable pricing models, but because so many games are streamed on PlayStation Now, I do feel that Xbox Game Pass is a better service currently. Now, they did just upgrade it, and they have invested a lot of research on the PlayStation front. So I am going to be interested to see what happens over the next few years. But the point of this video is, why do I make so many videos about Xbox? Well, A, people seem to like to hear what I have to say about Xbox. So when I talk about Sony, it's usually within an Xbox video and me saying, okay, well, Xbox has done this. What has Sony done? Could they do something? And I'm really just the crazy person with strings attached to his wall trying to figure out what's going on behind the curtain, you know? Yeah, and that's all it is, really. I make PlayStation videos, and I'm going to continue to make PlayStation videos. I'll probably make one about Horizon after the E3 demo is revealed, reacting to it or something, But I kind of wanted to explain why I like talking about Xbox and why it's more exciting. The long and the short of it is, they're doing new things that nobody has done before. They're the underdog, and I like to root for the underdog. And that's it. And I mean, personally, I prefer the Xbox console still. Even though Sony has all these fantastic games, like I'm a fan of the Xbox console. And I'm not a fanboy. I play both consoles. And yeah. So anyway, I'm getting really, I feel like yesterday's video and today's video are not going to go over well. So we'll see how it goes. But regardless, thank you so much for watching. I just feel like I need a nap. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I feel like I need a nap because I'm tired, but let me know what you think. Why are you more excited about PlayStation? Or maybe you're like me, you like rooting for the underdog and you're more excited about Xbox. Let me know in the comments below. If you like these sort of videos, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed. I appreciate all of you. Memberships are turned on YouTube. Memberships are just a thing that you can do to support content creators. Thank you so much to everybody who has supported me. I am going to go get some rest. I hope you have a wonderful day. Drink some coffee. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow morning. All right, I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody. See ya.